Okay, so I think I tapped the power button with one of the wires, so it went ahead and shut off the camera, so I started it again here. I'm going to try to get the camera up inside so you can see what that compartment looks like up inside there. As you can see, 1, 2, and 3. So there's our 3 screw holes that we have to try to get that actuator into, and at the same time figure out how to get our arm in, which you can see my hand up here. This is about all the movement that I get. So short of taking apart a lot of the body panels, which a shop would do, we really have to try to squeeze our screwdriver in here somehow and try to get it in there so we can get those screws in, and then we're all done. So I'll see if I can't get that actuator started and then turn the camera back on. So we have the actuator in, and one thing to note is make sure that you have the orientation correct on that plastic piece back there, because of course your actuator is not going to move when you get it in place, and it does not move, so make sure to move that into place and make sure it's set before you put the actuator in. So we're going to try to see if we can't get those screws started, and then make sure we get our interface plug in, which is in the back and the bottom there. I think I have the cable dangling back here. Yeah, right there is my interface plug. So we'll get that in, and then we'll be all set. We'll be able to test and see if we have cold air. Okay, so I've got the top screw in, and I want you guys to see what I've done with the bottom one. Is I took that bit out because the direct alignment for that screw is actually in the directly in the way of the part of the frame, that front frame. So what I did was I simply took the bit of the screw, I'm holding it in with my thumb, and then using a pair of needle nose pliers to turn it, and that seems to be getting it in, which is pretty much the way I got it out because of the placement. And I think if you had like a 90-degree angle screwdriver or something, you probably could pull it out fairly quickly, but it does take that Torx 20 T20 bit, so which I didn't have anything to adapt, so I just made do. So I'm going to finish getting this in and start the third one. Okay, so I got the bottom screw in, and we're looking right now at the bottom screw, and I still have to finish screwing it in. But what I did was I used the upper actuator as a reference so that I knew kind of where that bottom screw would end up, and then made sure to look for that loop. And then you got to actually hand fish that screw in. You can see my fingers here. You know, you actually have to kind of hand fish that screw in. You see from the top here. It's really difficult to get in and look at this, but let me see if I can maybe move the light a little bit. There's pretty tight quarters up in here. What I'll probably do to finish it out is get this bit, this T20 bit, and actually hold it in by hand and get a long needle nose pliers and just work it in until it finally snugs in. So, okay, the needle nose pliers did not work because I didn't have enough of an angle. So I've went ahead and used that same screwdriver with a bit extension. As you can see here, I'm kind of wiggling it back and forth, and I ran it inside. There's just enough room to get that bit extension in there and that screwdriver in there to be able to get to that Torx. See if I can maybe get a shot of it. Let's see, through here. Let's see how I did that. There we go. You can see kind of the head of that screw there as I turn it. And if you're really slow, it'll work without stripping it. You got to be really careful though not to strip that bit out and not to strip that screw out, or you'll be buying new screws. So the last thing to do, of course, is we got to make sure we connect our data cable or our power cable, and that's right here for this actuator, which means we're going to use that as a reference for this actuator and make sure that we get it in the right orientation when we actually insert it, so we can see the clip is on the bottom of that actuator. So we'll simply just slide it in, make sure that it seats. Kind of be careful because those pins our copper pins are real delicate. So we'll just kind of take it real easy, push it in, make sure you can feel it kind of seat, and then we'll hear it clip there, and we know that it's good. So everything should be good as far as the actuator is concerned, and we should be able to now test it. So let's grab a hold of our handle and get ourselves out of this position. We'll turn the key on and test it. Okay, so power's on, and we'll turn our air on. Okay. And we'll go ahead and turn heat on for the master temperature control. And then what I'll do is I'll lay down here and I gotta start her up in order to start the compressor. Just a minute here. There we go. All right. So we got our, we'll turn it on auto and heat. That way we know we're feeling heat. Make sure that we're getting heat out of the bottom here. Okay. And then we'll crawl underneath and make sure that that engine kind of heats up a little bit. And now we'll watch that actuator. Make sure that actuator is doing its job. So we'll see if we can't maybe move this cable a little bit out of the way so we can see it. There we go. Alright, so we'll find our temperature controls while I'm laying underneath here, and we'll adjust our passenger side down. Trying to remember which one that is. And we'll see if our actuator moves. So adjust our passenger side temperature down. And we can watch our actuator spin. And now the air coming out that's now blowing against the cell phone here recording is now ice cold. And we'll turn it back up again and we'll watch that actuator spin again. And up goes the temperature. And up goes the actuator. You can see that arm. And now it's nice and hot blowing against me. So we'll go ahead and reconnect everything. Put all of our parts and pieces back. Take our shop light out of here. Okay. Alright. So turn our shop light off. There we go. And we can turn our car off, I suppose. We'll kind of crawl out from underneath here. Hopefully, when somebody else does this, hopefully it'll be a lot easier to do than it has been for me. Hopefully you guys can learn from what I've done. So let's go over here and get our panel. And we have our two buttons that come with that panel. And we will get our panel here. Okay. So we have our lower panel we need to snap in. And we'll shine some light on this. Once again, I don't know if I have a light function on this camera. Probably not. So let's kind of position this as best we can. Once again, like I said before, that this process is very easy thanks to the manufacturer. We just simply insert our tray. So that's nice and snug up. There we go. And we'll swing that up. Make sure that looks nice and neat underneath. Okay. And then I'll set this down just a second and snap these buttons into place. Okay, so we'll reach under here and push one of these buttons up and then push that into place like that. Okay, that looks good. Same thing with our other one. We'll find our small notch here right in front. Just gotta grab the camera here. Alright. Yep, so that one just simply pushes up in. And then we push a little button in to lock it. And we're good. Alright. Piece of cake. Let's go grab our glove compartment. And I think I still have my buttons here in the glove compartment. Alright. So once again, be very careful when you install the glove compartment not to snap these pieces off. Which I'm going to set this down just 1 second while I very gently snap these in. Hopefully you'll hear me snap them in. There we go. There. See, we heard all three of those snap in. We can see they're all in place, in line. Okay, and we want to make sure we need to line up our gear there's a gear on here that allows your glove compartment to open and close slowly. Got to make sure to line that up, or that will not work either. Okay, so we got that done. See if we can't shine that. You'll see that though once you actually get your glove compartment in. And then we can see that those buttons line up, the notches line up, so we'll go ahead and install those buttons back in there. Alright, and we'll simply just wait till they get past that point and then turn them 90 degrees. We'll use a pair of needle nose pliers to do that. Alright, there. Alright, that gets one in. That way you can see what they look like. There, we'll just turn those in order to get those back out. So we'll do the same thing to the other one. We'll find that piece and get that installed. Sorry about that, I'm not outside here. Okay, same thing, we'll just insert this in here and then get that flush. Make sure that flush, will set the light down for a second here. Alright. Alright. Need to see what I'm doing, huh? Alright. So I get this side in and then turn it. Okay. Alright, and get that turned. Okay. So we have both of our buttons in there, as you can see here, and the other side there. Make sure our glove compartment works like it's supposed to. Glove compartment works, and the underside looks good, and the other side looks good, so we are done. Okay, so hopefully this is in focus. So what have we learned today? We've learned to replace the blend door actuator in the Traverse. Hopefully this will save you guys $200 or $300, maybe more, at the dealership. And look for more videos as I find things to do. And hopefully this helps people. Thanks.